Now, viewers, for more on this, we are joined by Defense Analyst Brigadier Retired Nadir Mir. First and foremost, Brigadier Mir, thank you so much for speaking to Pakistan TV. Now, I want to dive right into the situation at hand, given the fact that this is a very crucial point in the understanding and the security dynamics of Pakistan, given the fact that the Prime Minister of Pakistan is in Quetta chairing this Provincial Apex Committee meeting of the National Action Plan. Understanding the objectives of the National Action Plan, I want to touch upon some of the primary objectives in the case of improved border and internal security, promotion of national peace and stability. That being said, Pakistan has been able to make great achievements and great strides in basically fighting this menace of terrorism. Could you help us understand further the dynamics or the relationship involved in this mutual synergy between the provincial security personnel as well as the armed forces of Pakistan?
Pakistan is facing geopolitical terrorism, which means that basically it is hostile powers, which means India and Afghanistan, and of course the western border, also including Iran. And Iran is not hostile, but across the border, these elements are being waged against Pakistan. Of course, they have sympathizers or supporters or betters within Pakistan. But overall, there is a complete grand design. For example, as you've just witnessed in Balochistan, the kind of attacks, the sophistication, maybe even satellite support to these terrorist forces. So we need to stop talking about law and order and terrorism the way we keep doing and talk of it as a war. So as far as this National Action Plan is concerned, as far as the Prime Minister's meeting is concerned with the CDF and Chief of Army Staff, it is very well timed and obviously the need of the hour. The whole nation craves for it. The whole nation, including the people of Balochistan, most of all, want peace and security in Balochistan and in all of Pakistan for that matter. So the point is, how is to be done? It's obviously, as you've just hinted and correctly, there is the element of the national and the provincial. Balochistan is the province of Pakistan and the biggest geographical province. That part has to be done because there are certain issues and there certain tasks which are to be done by the provincial government and provincial security forces or the police or the levies or the scouts or others and all the others that are in Balochistan, including information, intelligence, and so many other things. But at the end of the day, it's a national effort. The province, the federation or the center, and the whole nation. So the whole, number one, the whole nation has to be mobilized in the sense of information to the fact that Pakistan, a war is being waged against Pakistan, like a war was waged in 2025 by India on the eastern border, like there is a war ongoing between America and Iran, for which we are the sole mediator. And like there are other wars in Ukraine, Russia, this is also a war of a different nature. It's a terrorist war, so it's not tanks and ships and planes coming. So what is to be done and how is to be dealt? Every time this talk takes place and after some time, again there's an attack. This is what has been happening for years and years now. So the time has come to solve it once and for all, for which it has to be done both sides of the border. That is in Balochistan, all the terrorist hideouts, their sympathizers, their places, their bases, and all the other venues that they use, they have to be located if they are not already known, and they have to be eliminated in totality. And across the border, from where these attacks are coming, all those sites and all those people and all those abettors and all those facilitators and all those logistics which goes into this, that has to be dealt with. And there are many ways to deal things across the border also. So as a wholesome national security strategy, this has to be done. It has to be above the level of what we are talking right now.
Absolutely. Brigadier Mir, you've described this war, you've described the situation as a blunt war, and you've described it as a terrorist war. Understanding this, how do you propose on eliminating these terrorists from the soil of Pakistan, as well as what other approaches can we take? Do you feel that we could engage in a diplomatic conversation with the Afghan Taliban, or is that completely off the table?
Well, as far as diplomacy is concerned, diplomacy and conflict go side by side. You've seen it in the, I'll give you an analogy or an example. You've seen it in the Iran-US conflict or war, which is still ongoing, not as tempo-wise as much as before, but you've seen sporadically it comes up and there's some strikes and then again there is peace talks. And Pakistan has been the mediator throughout in that. Similarly, in this manner, nobody is saying that we should not talk to the Afghan government. In fact, you have to, when we're talking Baluchistan, we need to relook the map. Please see the map of Baluchistan. Baluchistan geographically is linked to both Afghanistan and also to Iran. And with Iran, we should have more clout today because of all that we are doing for them, and we have a common interest. So first of all, we should ensure that there is nothing across the Iranian border in Iran which helps terrorists in Pakistan. That is first. Then we come to Afghanistan. And with Iran, I hope, because we have done a lot for the Iranians in bringing peace to them, we are still doing it. So the least that we can ask for is this, and we should be very, very curt, and we should be very blunt in this and ask the Iranians that we will not tolerate any kind of, it's not that the Iranian government may be doing it, but whoever is doing it from the Iranian soil, that has to be finished. Similarly for Afghanistan, if the Afghan government is not going along as we have tried, as you've asked the question of diplomacy. Well, if diplomacy fails, then there are many other methods and they can be used. But what we are not understanding is that it is the Afghan government or the Kabul regime who has to change its policy. By striking terrorists, even if we strike terrorists, which we have done effectively, and we should do it if needed be, but attacking terrorists who are spread over in the ravines and caves and mountains of Afghanistan, I mean, the effects may be minimal. After all, before us, the Soviets also tried that, and the Americans also tried that with their power. So once in a while, it's all right, but actually, it's the Afghan government which we can pressurize, and there, besides kinetic means, there are many other means. Afghanistan is a landlocked country. Everything comes to it from Pakistan or from Iran or from Central Asian states. So there's a lot Pakistan can do, but Pakistan has not done it so far. So we're not bringing the pressure on the Afghan government, which will make it relent from supporting terrorism or allowing these terrorist forces or groups to operate. This is as far as across the border. But then there are sympathizers and supporters within Pakistan. So you need to make some, you need to pass some emergency, I mean you, when I say you, I mean Pakistan needs to pass some emergency ordinances, the president or the government or whatever, in which all abettors and all facilitators and all supporters of terrorism should be treated as terrorists, or you know what I mean, when they are treated, so that there is to be no distinction between those who are doing terrorism and those who are in any form supporting terrorism, because at the end of the day you have to finish off the support base. There is a support base for the terrorists. If they're hiding somewhere in Baluchistan or in KPK or any part of Pakistan, let's say they're hiding in some places, or somebody knows about them. So they should be penalized. Nothing is actually what happens is an incident takes place and those terrorist attacks are repulsed, and after that some are chased and some are killed. This is what is happening. This is not the right strategy to end the matter. It is a strategy to deal with that attack, of course, and the terrorists will be defeated because the state and is much more powerful than any terrorist group. So they will be defeated wherever they attack after some time. But it doesn't finish the issue. The only issue, the way it can be finished is by ensuring that all logistics, all safe havens, all hiding places, all facilitators, all abettors, all supporters of terrorists are hanged like them, shot like them. Then it will end because they will lose the support.
Absolutely. No, thank you so much for providing us with this insights. Viewers, this was defense analyst Brigadier Retired Nadir Mir speaking to Pakistan TV.